us now from London. Welcome to you, Tommy.
How you doing, mate? You all right?
I'm all right. Now, what happened?
Basically, I was on my way home. First of all, I was at the service station. I had a little argument at the service station with a car with about 4 young Muslims in. They were shouting me out the window. We had a verbal exchange. I didn't think anything more of it. The police are now looking down the line that it was something to do with that car. That was a white Astra. But then as I was approaching, coming out the back end of Luton, I had a car flashing me over, and my battery had just died. My battery died about half hour before, and the last thing my wife had messaged me was, "Where the hell are you?" Yeah, because I wasn't home yet. And then I was on my way home. I had a black Safira Fashion Me, which is exactly the same as what my wife drives. I looked in the wing mirror. It had a girl driving it. I pulled in. I got out, and as soon as I got out, literally, an Asian lad dived out of the passenger seat, and I could tell by his mannerisms exactly what was going to happen. I could tell exactly what was going to happen, and it did happen. Me and him started fighting, and another couple got out of the car, and I got beaten up. I was knocked unconscious, and next thing I know, some fella was waking me up who pulled over when he saw what was going on. And that was pretty much it.
Did they say anything while they were doing this?
It's about 2 weeks ago.
Right.
They did. There's been a lot of rumours here. There's been a lot of rumours floating around. The reason why a lot of rumours are floated around is because when I was in hospital, I turned my phone on. I literally got 2 or 3 text messages before the battery died again, and then I was in there for 8 or 9 hours. So the rumour mill went wild as to what was said and what happened, what my injuries were, where I was. But the first thing the fella said was, "This is for our mosque." Now, locally in Luton, we've been battling against a mega mosque. The local Islamic community bought a bit of land for £1.5 million off our council. We fought against that because the council had promised the land for affordable housing for our community. Now, 2 days before, the day before or 2 days before, I'm not too sure, this attack, they found out that they are not getting that land and they are not getting that mega mosque, which would have been one of Europe's biggest Shia mosques. And they got the information they weren't want it. So that's what the man said, the first thing he said, which our newspapers have failed to report locally. Our newspapers have also failed to report that this is a the police are treating this as a racially motivated attack. In our local paper, they put there is no motive as to yet. Now, when I spoke to the police have got it down as a racially motivated attack. So that shows you the selective journalism we're up against, the media campaign we're up against. They won't even report that it is a racist attack. And when I said to the lady, well, the first thing he said was, "This is for our mosque." And bearing in mind, this same newspaper has run 2 stories now about how furious and hopping mad the local Islamic community are over not getting this mosque. She said, "I can't link this to your attack." I said, "Why not? I've told you what they said. I'm the witness who was attacked by them. I know this was because they didn't get their £1.5 million land sale for their mosque." She said, "Because it's just rumours." But yeah, then in our local paper, they run a story saying that my comments on rumours that I was attacked by local football hooligans. So it shows their selective journalism. It shows the campaign we're up against locally. They refuse to put the facts in of what have happened and put rumours in instead.
Now, as you mentioned rumour, it's very important that people understand this. Now, obviously, we're broadcasting in Canada, but I can assure you that this is now being seen throughout the United Kingdom and most of Europe, because whenever you're on TV, Tommy, particularly it seems when I'm interviewing you, because I give you actually some room to speak your mind, I may agree, I may disagree with you. That's not the point. I believe in freedom of speech. But it always goes viral and people start to attack everyone concerned. There were rumours that they were chanting Allah Akbar and Merry Christmas, Tommy, as they were kicking you. Is that true?
No, the last thing which I can categorically say I heard was, "We're going to kill you, you white pig." Right. That was the final thing I heard before I was knocked out. There was Muslim, there was Pakistani accents. The thing a lot of people, because I didn't report this instantly to the police, and a lot of people question why I didn't report it instantly to the police. I don't know if anyone's seen the video. There's another video of YouTube of me driving through my hometown where I'm attacked again by a Muslim extremist called Saiful Islam. He punched me through I didn't report that to the police. I got 8 stitches on my lip 6 months ago. I didn't report that to the police. If I was reporting to the police every time I'm attacked in my hometown, I'll be constantly in the police station. And to be honest, I don't agree with contacting the police myself, and that's just my own background. And so I didn't contact the police. I didn't go to the police. But this is constant. It's going on all the time. I will be attacked again. And when people said, "Well, how come would you have got out of the car, or how come you didn't report it?" I have to have the mindset that I'm going to continue walking through Luton. I haven't got no paid bodyguards or protection as yet, so I have to walk through my hometown. So I have to be of the mindset, if I run once, I'll be running for the next 20 years. So I'm not running, and I will continue to walk through. And if anyone wants to try and attack me, I'll defend myself. And that's the mindset I've had to take. It's either that or pack my bags and leave Luton, which is what the police have sat me and my family down. They've given us official Wasman warnings saying that our advice to you and your family is to leave Luton, leave for the foreseeable future, take your children with you, do not come back to this town, because we cannot guarantee your safety. Now, after being told that, I've had to make the decision of what do I do? Do I go into hiding? Do I allow them to intimidate me into silence and scare my family? So I've took the instance that I'm not going to go into hiding. I'm not going to be silenced. I'm going to continue coming out and exposing the truth about Islam and standing up for my community, which is what I've done. So that's a lot of the reasoning behind the story which has come out. People said, why haven't you reported to the police? Even now, I have reported to the police, but when I reported it to the police, I made it clear that I will not be willing to go to court. And that's just because even where I live, it's just like you can't go to court and point at people. So,
to give a bit more background for people who may not be aware, Tommy is leader of the English Defence League. Luton is a town about 40 minutes north of London. He's been accused of being part of the far right. My first job in British journalism back in 1982 for the New Statesman magazine, of all people, I used to work with Christopher Hitchens, was monitoring the far right. I know how the far right work. There may be a bit of a fringe in the EDL who have some of those views, but for the most part, they're just pretty ordinary people who certainly have gone out of their way to revise that idea, to reach out to the Jewish community and Hindu community and black community, gay community. What they're saying is they find Islamic radicalism a great threat. Now, Tommy, what is interesting here is some of the people who were spreading rumours, and I think we're going to show photographs of what you look like after the attack, they said you'd applied makeup, you weren't really attacked, and if you were attacked, it was nothing to do with Islam or Pakistani youths. It was actually a soccer confrontation. Who was spreading those rumours?
This group, they call themselves the Northwest Infidels. They're a group of backward, inbred, Nazi sympathising scum who we have kicked out of our organisation. I'm not going to even sit on the fence on this one. They're backward. They hate anything that moves that's not white. It's quite comical. They're pathetic. They can't even see their own faults. But they were kicked out of our organisation probably a year ago. What they were doing, they were jumping on the back of our organisation, but not actually giving us any reason to publicly kick them out. When we got the chance, we come out, we said this is who they are, we exposed them at a demonstration, and we forcefully removed them. They have now dedicated their time and their life to going against me, because the path they wanted to the English Defence League to go down was a similar path to the backward National Front. An ideology which is identical to Islamism. It's just opposite sides of the same coin. We're not going to be hypocrites and allow that to flourish. We will combat Islamism. We will combat Nazism. I hate Nazis as much as I hate Islamists. And that's what I've came out strongly and said. And because of this and the way we've taken this movement, which is supporting other countries, which is supporting other cultures, which is being proud of some of our diverse communities in this country, they're agreed with it, they're disgusted with it, and I am the number one target. And they will do anything and go to any length to discredit me. And I say it time and time again that the only reason why the English Defence League has been such a success is because we are reaching out to mainstream Britain, to normal, ordinary people who may, as you say, sometimes be likely lads or hardened lads, but are not racist, backward, far-right extremists, right. Which is what these groups are, who thankfully we've managed to have. I think the movement was at breaking point probably a year ago, right, with all these groups jumping on the back, and then it had to come to a head. It come to a head at our Blackburn demonstration. Okay. We kicked them out, we got rid of them, and now I'm a number one target for them.
Tommy, I want to do another segment and speak about some of the wider issues of what's going to be happening in the new year in the UK and in Europe. So stay with us, please. Welcome back. Now, Tommy Robinson, leader of the English Defence League. Now, this is a Canadian show, and most people watching, understandably, don't pay that much attention to the UK, but we do pay attention to issues of freedom and tolerance and coexistence. And anyone who hates people because of their religion is a bigot and has no place on my show or in public discourse. But I think there are some valid fears about Islamic extremism. The main victims of this, of course, are other Muslims in the Islamic heartlands. For goodness sake, look at so many countries where people simply want to be what they are, and they can't be because of a fanatical interpretation of a particular faith. Tommy was attacked by a gang of people, young people, who said this is for the mosque. Tommy, I want to ask you this question, because you said the last thing you heard was, we're going to kill you, you white pig, and the first thing they said was, this is for the mosque. If, say, a brown Muslim had been beaten up by a group of white people who said, this is for the church, and ended the attack with, we're going to kill you, you brown pig, this would be national headlines, not only in the UK, but I think internationally.
Of course. This is the two-tier system. I don't know, about a month ago there was a story in the Daily Mail, 4 Muslim girls. There was a young British couple, a man and woman, walking home, and these Muslim girls attacked them, beat them to the floor for 5 or 10 minutes, jumped all over their heads, ripped their hair out, and they were shouting, "We're going to kill you, you white slag, you white slag." This is all documented by witnesses. When it went to court, the judge let these 4 Muslim girls off custody because they were not used to being drunk, because they're Muslim. Now, this is a truthful story. It sounds comical and people will laugh, but it's a fact. This happened. Now, this shows the two-tier system. As you said, imagine a Muslim couple, a woman in a hijab or a burqa with her husband walking home, are attacked by 4 white girls who are drunk on alcohol. They beat her to the floor, shouting, "We'll kill you, Muslim, we'll kill you, Muslim." We all know they'll get 3-4 years in prison for a racist attack. These Somalian girls weren't even charged with a racist attack. Now, this is a two-tier system we're trying to break, but when you look at what we're up against, it's like there's a conspiracy across the whole country in order to silence any critics of Islam. Locally in Luton, since our demonstration, this is a mad story. There's 26 firebombing attacks. Yeah? Now my old house was firebombed, one of them, and they were spraying EDL. My cousin, who's the other joint leader, his van was firebombed. And what they're doing is they're attacking random houses. They attacked the Labour government's local offices, and the same yellow spray paint was used in each incident. And so they were attacking not Muslims' houses, black people's houses, white people's houses in different estates around town in order to change the opinion against the EDL. So people would be annoyed with the EDL, blowing up innocent people's cars and houses. Now, our local press, as you could imagine, our local Labour councillors, as you can imagine, all of this was blamed on the English Defence League. Now, what we know, and what we've sat down with the police, is that the police made arrests over these 26 firebombings where they were writing English Defence League and EDL no surrender. There was mosque windows smashed, EDL. They've made arrests and they've arrested Muslims. And have they gone to press with this? And there's people in jail now. There's Muslims in prison now for these 26 firebombing attacks. When they raided their houses, they said they're not getting out for a long time because of some of the other things they found. We don't know what they are, but they haven't gone to press to dispel these myths and all these rumours that it's us. I was walking around town getting blamed for all these firebomb attacks, and it's actually Muslims that are doing it. And it shows you the biased media and the police, because neither of them will come out. If this was the English Defence League doing these bombings, they'd have been all over the press, saying we've arrested these fascist arsonists, we've got them in jail. But they haven't even come out and mentioned, we said you need to come out and make a statement stating the religion of the people you've arrested for these firebomb attacks. And all they've done in the statement was made a statement saying they can categorically say it's not the English Defence League. They're still too fearful to come out and tell the truth, and that's what we see we're up against a lot of the time when we're going against the media. Is their selective journalism and their unfair and biased two-tier system when it comes to, as you said, if it was in my case, it was a racist attack and it was because of the mosque. So why hasn't my local media reported that? They didn't report it. Whereas if it was the other way round, they'd be throwing it. It'd be headlines of all the news.
It's not confined or unique to the United Kingdom. We know it happens in Europe, but I can talk about North America with some authority. We had this minister down in the United States who wanted to burn the Quran. Now, personally, I think he had a right to do that, but probably an obligation not to. I wouldn't have done such a thing. But it was a very small incident in a very small church, which the president of the US, the most powerful man in the world, made into an international issue. Now, simultaneously, we have repeated attacks, particularly in parts of Michigan. We had a man who embraced radical Islam who murdered people on an army base, and people were at pains to mention anything other than his religious affiliation. But why is that? In the UK, why is it, a country with its history of standing up to fascism and authoritarian regimes, why are people frightened, not of attacking Muslims, but of saying that Islamic radicalism is a threat to minorities, gay people, Jewish people, Christians, Muslims who want to be secular? Why can't they say that?
They've succeeded over the last 20 years in this fear factor of having everyone walking on eggshells. Anyone who spoke out at all against the status quo was beaten down with this racist tag. And they've succeeded. And what they've done is even half of my best friends are fearful. You can't say that. Yes, I can say that. And I will say that. And I'm standing up for what's right. So that's why I'm saying it. And we just hope that us doing it and us by not faltering and not being intimidated and fearful, that we give inspiration to other people. And more people will feel they can stand up. And when certain medias or certain people see the sway in the public opinion, which is happening now, the swing from left to right, which they can't stop, people are now coming out and speaking. 2 years ago, no one would dare mention the word Islam. Now people run around singing the fact that they're infidels. We've broke that taboo. We're breaking that taboo. People will be standing up. What you're going to see in 2012 is more and more people standing up and demanding the truth demanding the truth about Islamic extremism and demanding that the two-tier system is broke forever, because you can be victims once. Say, like, for example, if you go out in our local town centre, if I was just a young Christian lad and I wasn't Tommy Robinson and I was having an altercation with Muslims in town, when the police turn up, they'll automatically jump on me. So even if I've been getting beaten up by those Muslims, I'll be a victim of that crime. Then the police will turn up and I'll be a victim of that, because they automatically, and anyone living in an area like Luton knows what I'm talking about. There's a two-tier system. They're petrified of them. It's kid clubs for their community, Iron Fist for ours, and automatically they always turn to us as the easy victims.
Okay.
And listen, as I said, yeah.
I appreciate your time, Tommy. And for those people watching now, and as I say, I know what will happen. Obviously, a big audience in Canada. It'll then go on the internet and blogs and YouTube and go viral. For those people who don't like what Tommy says, it's called freedom of speech. And if you're opposed to freedom of speech, well, who is the fascist? Who is the fascist then?